Welcome to Dravo Vein. If you like paranormal stories and you like Bigfoot stories, then today you should love this story because it has both. And not only that, today we are privileged to have Jeremiah with us. So this story is coming from Jeremiah himself. Even though he wasn't there, but I've heard the story. Now Jeremiah, refresh my memory here because this is the one we heard from Richie. I didn't want to believe it because it was so far-fetched. And then your two other buddies,
Stan and Anthony?
yes. After they said something about it, it was like, holy macaroni, this might actually have been real.
If you hear anything from Richie, I love him to death. He served just like me. But if you hear something from Richie, most of the time it's bullshit. So the story that you're wanting me to talk about, I would say it was bullshit hearing it from Richie. But when Stan and Anthony, the guys that I've served with overseas in Afghanistan on the team, tell you the same story, it's legit.
Now explain to the viewers here, y'all, you have your group of military buddies, and some of them have, injuries or mental issues. I don't want to say mental issues, but
PTSD. PTSD.
Right. I don't know why I always get that messed up. But, so y'all have a man trip to kind of help deal with some of these things, right?
4 times a year, we all get together, just the guys. And we go on trips. Camping, fishing, hunting, whitewater rafting, whatever. We all get together. We go on these trips. We do this so nobody kills themselves. PTSD. Either we have physical injuries due to combat or mental injuries. Some things we do over there messes you up mentally. There's 12 of us every year that go on these trips. This trip in particular, I didn't get to go on because I was doing contract work for the CIA overseas. Won't get into that, but I was not there for this trip. Richie was, Stan and Anthony was. Stan and Anthony I served on with the teams over in Afghanistan and Iraq. They were there. They told me the story. And out of the 8 guys that were on this particular trip, 6 of them were special forces. 2 of them were regular military, one including Richie.
Yeah, you wasn't able to go on this trip this time, but with the story that they come back with. Now, listeners, this ghost story, Bigfoot, you're going to get it both in this one. As unbelievable as it sounds, now they go into an area where they've done Civil War reenactments, right? Or, well, I don't know about that. I might be getting that mixed up. But where many Civil War battles really took place.
We're in this particular state. We've been at this place camping many times. It's on private property. One of our friends owns this property. One of the guys in the group. We've gone on this property many times with our family and just ourselves. Fished, hunt, camped, whatever. Heard some weird things, but it's notorious for Civil War battles. And to make a long story short, just over the ridge, over this hill where we camp at every year, there's a Civil War burial of both North and South Confederate Union soldiers. And there's 2 guys that go with us, both cousins, both grew up in this area. Those 2 dipshits didn't even know that there was a gravesite.
Yeah, that is pretty bad. So let's get into the story. So what happened on this particular trip?
Everything's normal. I know how they set up the campsite. We do it at the same time every year. This is in the summertime. Campsite, you got a clearing inside the wood line. To the left of it, you'll have a creek that's notorious for smallmouth and trout. And we usually go 20 meters, go catch our fish, cook them up for dinner. What happened to the guys? Everything was normal. We do our activities, if it's hiking, fishing, ATVing, whatnot. I got a call overseas on contract work. Richie, panicking, told me this story, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Bullshit. It's only when Stan and Anthony called me, told me the same story, that I realized Richie wasn't full of shit. And all the stuff that I've encountered there all makes sense. So, it was actually Memorial Day weekend. So, it was in May, I think, when Memorial Day weekend is. And it was just the guys trip, and there's 8 guys there. 6 special forces, former special forces guys, 2 regular military. Everything's normal. The first night there, you hear this normal noise every night when you camp there. It's like metal on metal. But this particular time, it was a lot of metal on metal, where guys would wake up in the middle of the night from their tents, go out to investigate. Nothing looks out of whack. Coolers are where they're at. Chairs are where they're at. Vehicles aren't messed with because you could park right next to the camp. It's private property. Everything's normal. Next morning, everybody wakes up. Everybody's talking about, did you hear the metal clinking noises? And everybody's like, yeah, same shit, different night. You know, we've had this experience years on out. Well, one of the other guys decided he was going to go for a hike. Richie decided he was going to go hunt some squirrels. And I don't know if it's legal then there or not. I don't know what the hunting season is for that particular state, but Richie takes off with his shotgun to hunt squirrels. They're all camping. Everything's normal. Guys are fishing on the creek. Everything's normal. Back to the evening. Richie comes back, sees no squirrels. The other gentleman, we won't name, comes back from a hike, and he's come back a little freaked out. Nobody knows why. Everybody makes their meals. They drink a little bit. One by one, each guy goes to sleep. And you remember me telling you about our paranoid friend I served with in the Special Forces, that he suffered a brain trauma injury from the Humvee explosion, IED. He sets booby traps around the camps. You remember me telling you about that guy?
Yeah, you told me about how he likes to set the booby traps to protect himself.
He puts booby traps around the camp, not to maim people, but more for an alert. If anybody gets around the camp, he sets booby traps to alert us. Well, his booby traps that night went off crazy. Guys started waking up because we kept on, I say we, apologize, I wasn't there. They kept on hearing clink clink noises, metal on metal. Everybody comes out. Everything's normal in the camp except for our paranoid buddy. All of his booby traps have been set, and he puts out quite a few. But there's no signs, no nothing. All the booby traps have been set. No footprints, no signs, no nothing. Kind of spooked a few of the guys. A few of them stayed up as late as they could, but with the alcohol consumption and just being tired of a long day, they all decided to go back to bed. But later on that night, they kept on hearing this metal on metal noise. And Richie and Anthony woke up to go check the picnic table and everything, and they realized coolers have been opened, chairs have been moved. If I understand correctly, what both Stan, Anthony, and Richie told me, that the picnic table was turned over, but it didn't make a noise. It was like turned over, gently left down to not make any noise. They looked out, all the food's gone. And there was nothing there to make clink clink noises, metal on metal, because they were all using plastic forks. You know, the plastic red cups that people drink out of at parties. But they kept hearing clink clink noises, metal on metal noises. So what they saw that night, they woke everybody up and said, like, somebody's been inside our camp. Well, the special forces that some of these guys are, and their tracking skills, they looked around, saw nothing. No tracks, no nothing. So they thought one was playing pranks. Guess who they thought was playing pranks?
Richie.
Of course, Richie's the smartass in the group. He's the jokester. But no, Richie swears up and down it wasn't him. Stan and Anthony thought it was Richie. But Richie's not clever enough to cover his tracks. And there's no tracks left. And our paranoid Green Beret buddy was like, it's not Richie. Richie's not smart enough to set off my traps and not leave non-visible tracks. So the next day, they wake up, and that night they rearranged everything back the way it was. They woke up the next morning, and everything was situated the way it was when they woke up earlier, before they rearranged the camp the way it was. So something came back in the camp and left it the way it was. No tracks, no nothing. No food left, whatnot. So the guys decided that, hey, they're going to fish for more fish, make dinner. Dry food was still there, but the meat and stuff that they were going to use to make hamburgers and stuff, grill out, was all gone. Steaks, everything was gone. So the other guys decided, hey, they're going to fish. There's two cousins in the group. Both live and grew up in this area. They decided that they were going to do a perimeter check. Well, the other guy that went the day before off for a hike decided he was going to go hiking directly to the north of the camp. Richie decided he was going to go east of the camp up the ridgeline to hunt for squirrels. Somewhere in the midday, guys are fishing, and they're pulling in a lot of trout for some reason. Pulling in a lot of trout out of this stream. Stan and Anthony are at the campsite. You know, some of the guys are around the campsite talking what the hell's going on. He was playing a prank. Everybody concludes it's Richie. And this is either the second or third day. The one guy that went off to the north, the hike, comes back and is telling the guys, do you not know what's on the other side of the hill? And the two cousins, both of who I've served with in combat, in the teams, said, oh yeah, there's a farm line. He's like, no. You guys really don't know what's on the other side of this ridge. And they're like, yeah, farmlands. He's like, no, you all grew up here, and you dipshits don't even know what's on the other side of this ridge? And they're like, apparently not. He looks at everybody, and now the guys at the creek are listening in. Like, what's at the other side? Because, you know, what happened the 2 previous nights. He's like, on the other side of this ridge, there is a Civil War graveyard of both North and South, Union and Confederate soldiers. Hundreds of them, if not thousands of them. It's a burial. Stone markers, crosses, little, I don't know what you call them, the little plaques they put on the ground. Not the headstones, but the little foot markers, I call them. He said there's hundreds, if not thousands of them. And one of the cousins was like, well, yeah, we were known for having a lot of civil wars, battles in this state. And it's like, the other guys, what I've been told, were like, you did not know that there's a graveyard, a historic graveyard, and you all grew up in this area? How the hell did y'all fucking pass Special Forces selection process? And I know that the 2 cousins, their night, I'm getting startled here, tongue twisted. I don't like talking on YouTube. Their night, when you go through Special Forces, you gotta go through a night, it's the STAR course we do. they're perfect on it. I can't think of what it is. But they passed it. But these guys did not know their own geographic area. And now as all the guys are talking, you gotta realize this is midday. There's 7 guys here talking. Some by the stream, some in the campsite, some getting in their vehicles, grabbing stuff out. Off to the east, they hear Richie firing his shotgun. Boom, boom, boom. Hesitation, pause, like he's reloading and firing his shotgun again. All Stan and Anthony tell me is they hear Richie screaming and firing his shotgun. Everybody at camp's like, what's going on? And out of nowhere, they hear Richie screaming. And it's probably, I'll give yardage, not meters, because most Americans don't understand meters. Probably about 100 yards away, 150 yards away, on the other side of this ridge east of the campsite where the guys are at. They just hear Richie screaming, help, help. Well, both Stan and Anthony that are at the campsite decide to run in his direction with their weapons. Most of the guys have either had shotguns or sidearms with them. They, don't know. And the 2 cousins that are there saying, well, there are guys here that have stills. He might have come across a still. So Stan and Anthony went towards Richie's direction hastily, very fast. All the other guys are still at the stream. Some of the other guys are still at the stream fishing and like looking what the hell's going on. What I was told, as fast as Stan and Anthony went in the woods, maybe about 45 seconds, a minute later, you hear them screaming, holy fucking shit, let's run back. Now you got Anthony and Stan running, screaming, being followed by Richie. And I've heard this from everybody that was in the group. And all their stories match up. And you take it for what you want. I serve with these guys. They're credible guys. I've bled with them. So, they're legit. So the paranoid guy in our group, when he told me he saw Stan and Anthony running, eyes big buggy, open, pale, running, at the point that they threw their weapons down and running. And like yelling, holy shit, run. They're pissed. And he kept emphasizing, they're pissed. As in more than one. It was only when the other guys told me when Richie comes around down the slope screaming, they're pissed and he ain't stopping for shit. Puts a new perspective on it. They're coming and he ain't stopping for shit. The guys are in the camp. The guys are still by the creek bed like, what the hell's going on? And then all of a sudden they started hearing clink clink noises like metal on metal. A lot of loud running, thumping. Then you hear guys' voices of like charging into combat, like a rebel yell. They all look back where Stan, Anthony, and Richie came from, and all they see are a bunch of hillbilly guys running towards them, but in fear of something is behind them. Hundreds, if not thousands of these guys running. And one of the guys was like, Richie, what did you do? The guys that are in the camp are standing there like looking in shock and awe. The guys that are by the creek dropping their fishing poles are like, what the hell's going on? And in the process, you still have Stan Anthony running past the guys in the camp towards the creek now, followed behind Richie. They're throwing whatever they have in their hands, running full sprint like they're running for their lives, like you do if you call danger close artillery or airstrikes in. And behind them, they see thousands of guys running. But the guys that they all see don't fit in with the era that we are in. They look like Civil War reenactment soldiers. But the problem is, they're seeing through these reenactment soldiers. Like, they're running past trees and bushes. They're seeing these guys, seeing through these guys, seeing these trees and bushes. And Ray, our paranoid buddy, told us, like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. So everybody starts following Richie, Stan, and Anthony towards the creek bed. Where they're described as the guys at the creek bed are like, holy fucking shit, run. And they're trying to try to get across the creek bed. And basically what they're seeing and witnessing is dead soldiers from this notorious battle in this area back in the Civil War. Both Confederate and Union soldiers running for their life. They're ghosts running. All together. Union soldiers mixed in with Confederate soldiers, like they're all working together, running from something. And the way Anthony and the guys explained it and described it was, it's like they're all running towards them, and then like birds do, they'll shift all in one direction and go that way fast. As these soldiers were running towards them, they all shifted and ran towards I think the northwest, where all the guys were at the west, because all the guys were in the creek bed, except for Anthony. Anthony somehow veered towards the vehicles, where the camps, the tents are. And he's trying to get in his vehicle, and he's shaking. He can't unlock his vehicle. And all these Confederate Union ghosts, we'll call them, running and just shifted northwest. And all the guys are sitting there looking at this thing. Like, now we know what the clink clink noise is. Because I guess apparently ghosts make noise. So it's their metal of their water cantinas, their flintlocks, muzzleloaders, all making the noise as it would back in the Civil War time. They're all running from something. And they said it sounded like a herd, a stampede of animals. And they all just shifted towards the northwest and all ran in formation together. When you hear the clink clink noise going away, then you start hearing this thump thump noise in the back. And lo and behold, these fucking ghosts, these Confederate and Union soldiers, ghosts, are running away from a Bigfoot.
Just one Bigfoot?
One big son of a bitch. I'm glad I wasn't there for this. I don't know how I would have reacted. But to hear Stan and Anthony and Richie and the other guys describe this, it's like the Bigfoot ran into the camp, stopped, looked at the guys in the creek, and the guys in the creek, some of them, Richie told me, was it looked like they were going to be baptism. Some guys dropped to their knees like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Other guys were on the other side of the embankment, climbing up the money embankment, looking back like, shit, you gotta be kidding me. Other guys were just standing in the water like, am I seeing what I'm seeing? If this wasn't strange enough, seeing ghosts running, and then on top of it, they're running from a big creature that people say don't exist, but they're seeing it does exist. That this Bigfoot creature, when they described it, was like 8.5 feet tall. It stopped in the camp, looked at where the soldiers went at, then looked at my buddies in the creek bed, looked over at Richie, who's still shaking, trying to get into the car, his vehicle. He just looked at everybody, looked over, grabbed up one of the coolers, which they freshly stocked the trout in, looked at the cooler, grabbed the cooler, put it underneath his left arm, looked at everybody, turned off, and walked back to where he came from. and they watched him walk nonchalantly, calmly, walking, occasionally looking back, walking where Anthony, Stan, Richie came from, along with hundreds, if not thousands, of Civil War soldiers, both Confederate and Union soldiers, just ran from. Everybody told me different. They were either there silent for 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Finally, Richie got the car door open. He's like, fuck this, guys. I'm out of here. I'm leaving my stuff here. I'll see you all next time. Richie left. Stan and Anthony were in the creek with the other guys. It was like, I don't know what's more fucked up. Us seeing what we just saw, or knowing that ghosts were running from a Bigfoot. They're ghosts. He's physical. He can't hurt them. But scared these ghosts enough to run from it.
So ghosts are afraid of something.
When Richie told me this, bullshit. When Stan and Anthony told me, and when I called the other guys, and everybody said the same thing, yeah.
I got a question. Did Richie wet himself?
Knowing Richie, I would say yes.
I can't remember if Stan and Anthony said it or not.
I want to say Stan said Richie pissed himself. I don't know. But I will tell you that everybody got in their vehicles and left their expensive tents there, their sleeping bags, their fishing gear, that the two cousins that I served with that were there with us, they sent their uncles back to the campsite to pick up everything. And the kicker about it is this. When they got to the campsite, they looked at them and was like, yeah, we took down your tents, we took your coolers and everything, but why in the hell did y'all not take this big rib of pork? They're like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, man, y'all had a pig that was left there. Why didn't y'all cook and fry up the pig? And they're like, what are you talking about? So apparently, I can't confirm this, the guys can't confirm this, but when the uncle and the other went back to go pick up the campsite and get all the gear, on the top of this picnic table was a farmer that conjoins next to their private property. One of his hogs was slaughtered and left on the picnic table. And the guy filed a police report of a missing hog, and they never told him what happened to his hog. And some of the guys believe that the Bigfoot went and slaughtered this guy's hog and gave it to him for the fish.
They're known to leave a gift behind.
But we've never been back since then. I'd like to go. But nobody from our group has been back. But the uncles have, and the other cousins have, of the two guys that I've served with, the cousins. They always complain about the metal on metal clink clink noises. From that moment on, they've never heard of the clink clink noises, but they have heard around the campsite on top of the hills. We're not talking big hills, more like foothills. Thumping, like something's walking around. And one of the cousins said, leave the big man a gift. So when they go fishing, they have a specific tree that they would hang their fish up, their catch of the day up. And every morning they wake up, it'd be gone, but there would be something left. If it's squirrels, raccoons, possums, apples from the nearby apple orchard. But all the guys in my group have never been back since then. Not even the two cousins, Stan, Richie, Anthony, the paranoid guy. Nobody goes back. And next story, I'll tell you, whenever that may be, I'll tell you about the paranoid guy. Why he basically saved one of the wives on one of our camping trips.
Well, there you have it, folks. A rare story from Jeremiah himself. I shouldn't say rare story, but rare that we hear from Jeremiah directly. And if you like that story, we have more, so please subscribe, like, and share, and we will continue to bring you more stories because the best is yet to come.
What is that?
The infamous Sebastian story.
Oh, he's not told that story yet?
No, he hasn't told that story yet.
Wow, people, you don't know what you're missing.
So, as we always say, fact or fiction, truth or lies, you decide.